What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be taking a look at the AM06 Pro. It's a mini PC made by ACEMAGICIan that's rocking a Ryzen 7, has Radeon graphics, and is capable of outputting in 4K. I've been having a bit of a love-hate relationship with these mini PCs as of late. I think they're great little pieces of tech. I mean, I have one that I use as a secondary editing computer, but I think the space is stagnated enough to the point where we're starting to see the same flavor, different brand kind of thing going on. But anytime one of these is rocking an AMD Ryzen chipset, it always sparks my interest. With the entry-level unit starting price point of under $300, how well does this thing actually perform? Let's find out. Inside the box, you have the AM06 Pro, the power supply, a basic set of instructions, a mounting bracket, and this SATA ribbon cable connector to add an additional SSD. They opted to go with a more business-style appearance in terms of the housing, which I'm in favor of. It doesn't need RGB or any of those other bells and whistles. Under the hood, we're rocking the Ryzen 7 5800U, 16GB of DDR4 RAM. This one came with a 512GB M.2 drive, and it's running Windows 11. In terms of I/O, on the front of the PC, you have a 3.5mm headphone jack, two USB-A ports, a USB-C port, and a built-in microphone. Over on the back side, we have the port for the power supply. We have one Ethernet port that's capable of 1G speed, another Ethernet port that's capable of 2.5G speed, an HDMI 2.0 port, a display port, and two additional USB-A ports. It supports up to 3 displays at 4K ultra high def. It's super easy to open up, and as you can see, the RAM, the M.2 drive, and the latch to pop in that SATA ribbon cable are all easily accessible. Powering it up, Windows 11 runs really well on this machine. Everything was smooth, fast, and responsive. From a production standpoint, this is a great little machine. It handled all of my work tasks with ease and was even able to handle some medium level editing. I will say though, based on this compact design, the CPU can get a little warm. Sometimes this triggers the fan to go on full speed, and it can be a tad bit louder than some of the other mini PCs I've tried in the past. This isn't necessarily a big deal, and it only seems to happen while tackling some heavier workloads, but as someone who records audio with a sensitive microphone, it did cause a minor inconvenience. Because this little guy has Wi-Fi 6, it actually makes for an excellent streaming device. Whether you're using it to stream from Steam or as a remote play device, this thing is really solid. So when it comes to playing games natively with these kind of specs, you know it's going to handle some of the older stuff really well. Anything that came out around the 7th generation, this thing is going to give you some solid performance. Running some benchmarks, it actually scored lower than I thought it would. But we have to take these results with a grain of salt because I kept encountering an error while conducting one of the tests. It kept telling me one of the drivers may be outdated or not properly installed. So I tried updating the driver, no luck. I even tried rebooting the system from factory settings and still kept getting the same error. So bear in mind these benchmarks are incomplete and do not paint the full picture of this PC's capabilities. So I wanted to see how it would perform with some more modern games. Here I am playing Spider-Man, and it's actually running pretty solid on low settings. Granted, this is basically potato mode, but the game is still playable. It was a similar story with the RE2 remake. The game was perfectly playable on low settings. When it comes to retro emulation, PlayStation 2 and GameCube were kind of the ceiling as to what it can run comfortably. Most PS2 games seem to run fine at 720, but there are some games where you may have to reduce the resolution to PlayStation 2 native and enable frame skip in order to get them to run properly. GameCube seemed to provide a much better experience. The games just seem to play better overall, but it's far from perfect. Some games just won't run at all, and others you will encounter some periods of slowdown. So the AM06 Pro. It's always refreshing and ambitious to see these little guys run Ryzen chipsets. And as a production mini PC, this is as good as some of the better ones out there. But from a gaming perspective, as you're inching closer to the $300 price point, you kind of want to see a little bit better performance out of your purchase. Now I know this thing is marketed as more of a mini desktop, not so much a mini gaming PC, but let's be honest, a lot of people that buy these are gamers. And if you're perfectly fine gaming from the 7th generation downward, this might be worth taking a look at. For anyone else, you may want to explore your options. If you guys are interested in the AM06 Pro, I'll have links in the description below. Until next time, this is Ness, signing out.